Hello everybody, my name is Cody Spurlock and today I'm joined with
Mrs.Nichols.
And today we're going to be finding out what makes Miss Nichols so special. So I'm going to go ahead and ask, what makes you special, Miss Nichols?
I think what makes me special is that I enjoy having relationships with students and going past just teaching, but putting in time outside of school too, and I don't know, just really investing in those relationships.
All right, and you have a lot of opportunities to do that here at Nickerson because you are pretty active as a teacher and doing other things than just teaching. So what are some of those other things that you do here?
Yeah, so we have the Panther Den, which is in the library, new store this year. So we sell food and drink items.
Trust me, I know.
Pretty popular thing.
Been there one too many times.
And we want to bring in apparel eventually, just to, I don't know, start school spirit, stuff like that. And then the other thing we have going on is FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America, which you're familiar with. And so, yeah, that's exciting. We've got some exciting stuff coming up for that, too.
And then you were also the volleyball coach this year.
Yes, I just resigned today.
Oh.
Baby on the way, so, kind of interfering with the start of the volleyball season and everything like that. So, hard decision to make. That was probably my favorite thing I did here.
Well, besides, having me in FBLA.
Right, yes, besides that, of course. But, yeah, just had a passion for volleyball, so that was hard, but priorities change, and stepping back is sometimes what you have to do, so.
In the future, are you interested in picking up coaching again?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know, volleyball just comes very naturally to me, and coaching, seeing those girls was the favorite part of my day, besides FBLA.
Besides, yeah.
Right. So yeah, I would love to, in the future, if that works out again, to do that.
And then you are having a kid, a little boy.
I'm having a baby.
Yeah. So what's it going to, what do you think it's going to be like having a son?
Well, you're assuming it's a boy. It could be a girl.
It could. It's not.
It's
but
a
it
baby.
Could be. Yeah.
We're going to find out this weekend. Well, I know.
I know too.
Oh, okay. Well, everyone else is finding out this weekend. So, having a baby, yeah, life's going to change a little bit.
Yeah. You're going to be like a full-time teacher at home.
Yeah.
You're what's going to be interesting? You're going to come to school. You're going to get to deal with, sometimes annoying kids, and then on
Tough
days you get to go home and you're going to have another kid just there
Not
all
quite
the time.
As annoying.
I don't know
Maybe.
about. That's something that you're probably obviously looking forward to.
Yes. Yeah. Very excited about that.
When is it due?
June 23rd.
June 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that date means something, but
Does
I
it?
can't.
For me, it's.
I think that's when Nationals is for.
Oh, yeah, that's FBLA Nationals.
Yeah,
Forgot about that.
There it goes. Yeah.
So I will not be attending this year, due to obvious reasons. But I was so excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I hope a lot of kids are qualifying this year.
I was expecting, a couple people to qualify and maybe a trip to Disney World. Maybe not. It is in Orlando, though.
I mean, win in Rome, or
win in Orlando,
or in this case, Orlando. So you talk about volleyball a little bit, but before you were a teacher, and even before college, you were a pretty good volleyball player, weren't you?
I was okay.
You were okay?
Yeah.
I heard that you were really good.
I was a volleyball player. I don't know.
Didn't you go to college for that?
Yes. Yep. I played at Sterling College for 4 years. Really enjoyed that. So.
What's your favorite thing about volleyball?
I think it's different than a lot of sports because you're not coming into contact with the other team. You're on your own side. It's different from basketball and football and soccer, and but you're with a whole group of, in our case, girls, and I don't know. It's just I feel very united as a team, and not that I didn't in other sports, but it's like you and your team on one side versus you and the other team on the other side, and so you just got to figure out what works, and there's no one getting in your way on your side, and so you can make a lot of fun things happen if you do it in a smart way.
Yeah. And then with FBLA, what has been some of the highlights of you in FBLA?
Yeah, I think, and it's similar to teaching, but a lot of the highlights are like seeing kids hit those light bulb moments of like, oh, this is what this event is about, and seeing them grow into these business leaders and like figure out, even if it's just like, business apparel and like what to wear, but also how to act. And then obviously the trips are always fun. I'm always exhausted by the end of them, but
yeah.
They're a lot of fun, just getting to go hang out and not just compete, but like bond together too. So.
And this is your third year here at Nickerson, and your third year being the FBLA advisor.
Third year here.
But you had an interesting transitioning period
Yes.
for FBLA from the year you weren't here for the year now, and then your first year, your second year even.
Yeah. So 5 years total. The first year was the COVID year, which they didn't have. We had districts. I remember that happened in January, and then the state conference was canceled, which had never been done, but obviously everything in the world was canceled. So, they did. I think they just canceled it completely. And then my second year, they actually had the state conference online. And so districts online too, which just, I don't know, you do what you can in that moment, but it just took away a lot of what FBLA is about.
And
so,
I wasn't in FBLA during those online times. I didn't start doing it until my junior year, but I did a lot of other things like debate and forensics, and online activities are just...
It's just not the same.
You lose some of the life in it.
Yes.
Even in things where, maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense to do it in person sometimes even, but just being there in person, like even taking a test. Taking a test online is way more boring than taking a test in person at FBLA and through other things. Just being able to be in person means a lot, especially in an activity like that where,
that team aspect.
half the fun of FBLA isn't even competing. It's all the other things that we do.
Yes, with it.
Yeah, while waiting and after the competitions.
Right, I agree.
But, coming out of those, the online periods, you had basically a whole new team.
Yeah, well, switching schools, and I think, I don't know how big the FBLA team was before. The pictures I saw and stuff, it looked pretty small, or that they would take, I think, 6 to 10 people to state every year. And then I think we took 11 or 12 my first year here. And I didn't know what to expect because I hadn't been to a state conference. So that was really cool, just like learning with the students how state works. And then, the next year we grew. We took about 23 people.
Yeah, we doubled. We doubled in size.
And this year it's looking like about 35. So.
Yeah, which is basically doubling in size again. So, I feel bad for how many buses we're going to take when we bring like 60 students next year. So
I know it's going to be. I hope it keeps growing, and I hope that people, learn a lot and join for the right reasons. But it's exciting.
And what were some of the the factors that went into growing the team so much?
Well, my presidents, you might know him. His name's Cody.
I don't think I'm familiar.
Yeah. Cody and Rhea. You guys did a great job at going and like recruiting people, and just even going up to their lunch tables or seeing people in the hallway and telling them what
remember
FBLA's
cornering
about.
people in the hall. Be like, hey, you're joining FBLA.
You kind of bullied people.
It's like, no, I was like, no, I wasn't asking. You're joining FBLA.
You are in FBLA.
And, question my actions, sure, but the results kind of speak for themselves. Some of those kids I forced into FBLA
They're scared out of their mind.
But they got some of them are winning too.
They are. We did really well at districts.
Which is always the fun part. Is we bully a kid into joining the activity, and then they love the activity, and you can forget about the whole process and them getting there.
I don't condone bullying, but I do like pushing people out of their comfort zone. Not a
word we or a phrase we get to say often. I don't like bullying, but
in this case it kind of worked.
Yeah, and with FBLA, one of your biggest jobs is trying to push your students out of their comfort zones. we used to have a lot of test takers. And when I say a lot of test takers, I mean everyone took tests at state last year except no, everyone took tests at states last year except me.
And Rhea.
Yeah, and so
maybe she had and Mario.
Yeah, and so transitioning from 1 to 3 people taking or doing presentations to this year, where we almost have half of our entries as presentations.
It's great. I really wanted more presenters. Taking tests is great too, if that's your thing. But presenting, 1, there's less people that you're competing against, and 2, it's just more of a commitment. I think you're showing more of the hard work that you put in. So, yeah, super exciting. We have a lot more of those.
What's some of the philosophy that you kind of take into trying to get kids to explore new things and push them out of their comfort zones?
I think it's all about just teaching life skills and showing them that, yes, this applies to FBLA, like deadlines and dressing professionally and communicating effectively and everything like that. But, I mean, that's also real world stuff, And so that's the main part for me is I want to make sure students are getting something that they can take beyond high school and apply that to their own lives.
All right, and you have a baby on the way, and I think never mind. So you have this baby on the way. If it's a boy, what are your names? What names are you thinking?
If it's a boy.
If it's a boy. If it's a boy.
If it's a boy, our name is going to be Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Link for short.
Link. Oh, you a Zelda fan?
I am not.
Ricky is
I just recently learned that was a character on Zelda.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Zelda, the game, is about Link.
Right, but I don't play video games.
Did Ricky see the connection?
He did. And you know what I found the connection to? Hairspray is one of my favorite musicals, okay?
Yeah.
The main character on there, well, not the main woman character, the main male character is named Link. Now, is that what I would name my baby after if it were a boy? No, I just like the name as a whole. I think it's a good name, but...
And then,
are you curious about the girl name?
For the girl name, if you have kids in the future and one of them happens to be a girl,
or if this one's a girl,
yeah. What are your names?
Indiana, Indy for short. That is tribute to the Indianapolis Colts.
You're gonna name your kid after a basketball team? Football team. My mistake.
Husband is a diehard fan, and I'm married into the.
That's got to be tough. You're a Taylor Swift fan.
I am a Taylor Swift fan.
So, watching all the Chiefs content coming out.
And I'll support, that's our home state. I was a Chiefs fan before I was a Colts fan.
And it's easier to be a Chiefs fan.
Well, right now. I had some rough years.
Yeah,
I remember the years when I was an actual fan and it was awful.
With Alex Smith and the years before Alex Smith, because Alex Smith years weren't that bad. It was just a little disappointing every year.
I remember my dad and grandpa being just so upset every year.
And now you get to see, Ricky feel that with the Colts.
I do.
They're
and
terrible.
I know how to support him. They're pretty awful.
They're the highlight of their past few years was beating the Chiefs one time.
Actually, I think they beat the Chiefs a couple times, which is like all they've done.
Which is their Super Bowl.
Which is all they've
their
done.
Super Bowl is trying to get a preseason game.
But we
or
have
a regular season.
Every year we've gone to Indianapolis since we've been married, so 6 times to go and see the Colts play in Indianapolis.
So either Indiana or Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Link for short.
And Indy for short.
And Indy for short. You didn't mention it, but they both would be named after a place.
That's what
Lincoln, Nebraska.
I realized that.
Was that planned, or did the Lincoln kind of just happen?
We just like the name. And Ricky is a third, so the name Richard would be incorporated, so it'd be Lincoln Richard. But each Richard and their family, it's been a first name, and we thought we'd make it a middle name because every nickname with Richard has been taken. So, so we were just looking for something that went with that.
So no Ricky the Fourth?
No, well, it will be Lincoln Richard if it's a boy, but...
So if it's a boy, Lincoln Richard the Fourth. Nichols.
Yes.
That's kind of a mouthful.
That's quite a mouthful.
That's
and if it's a girl, Danae would be her middle name.
Indiana Danae Nichols. All right.
Is both of our moms' middle names combined.
And we'll all be excited to welcome Lincoln Richard the Fourth
or
Nichols
Indiana Danae
into the world on June 23rd.
Yeah, I mean that's approximate arrival time.
Yeah, sometimes they come early, sometimes they come late.
Or late. We're hoping right on time.
Yeah, I'm a lot to look forward there. Big life happenings.
Lots.
What are some of your plans? After
The baby.
after the baby.
Just enjoying time. I'm planning on taking some maternity leave at the beginning of the next school year.
You're not going to just get right back into the action?
No, I'm not that much of a super mom.
Taking a little break.
Taking a break, just spending time with the baby and trying to get our dogs used to it, and just seeing a transition of life change. So I'm excited. I'm nervous, but mostly excited. So.
And are you planning on enrolling them here in our district?
That is a long ways away.
Time moves quickly.
Time does move quickly. I have been looking at the daycare here, so that would be a start. We're looking at a lot of different places, but that could be a potential. We could have a potential future Panther on the way.
Future Panther. You could dress them up in a little Panther outfit.
That would be pretty cute.
That would be. You could post it on your TikTok.
That would be. You think it'd get a lot of views?
I bet it would get a lot of views.
I would hope so. That'd be pretty cute.
Yeah.
I like watching babies.
Speaking of TikTok, you have a semi-successful TikTok channel.
I don't know if I'd call it successful.
I don't know if I would either, but I was being polite. Some of the content you post on there is a lot of either Taylor Swift stuff or it's board drawings, right?
Yeah.
And your board is an interesting one because it's always entertaining to see what's all going on with it. How did you get into your board drawings?
Quite honestly, I saw another teacher do it on TikTok and I was like, that looks like fun. And most of my classroom stuff is, displayed on the TV. And so I don't have much on my board, and I was like, that would be fun to kind of make something out of my board that could last all month. So I tried it and was like, let's make a TikTok. Because I posted TikTok not really caring. I'm just like, I'll post what I want. And which is why it is Taylor Swift or school stuff. And so, did it and then found it was a lot of fun. And that students actually enjoyed it. Like, they were like, what are you going to do next month? And so, it was fun.
So, I've obviously mentioned her a few times. What are you looking for? Are you looking forward to the next album that's released by Travis Kelce's girlfriend?
Yeah, by the Taylor Swift. I also want to say, I have been a fan since I was in like the 5th grade. Okay, I could tell you every song on every album. Yeah, I'm not that old. So the recent, fame of her. Obviously, she's going on this tour. She's dating Travis Kelce. There's a lot of it, but I did not jump on the bandwagon. I was the bandwagon.
Oh, so do you think there is a bandwagon epidemic of Taylor Swift fans?
Yes, and that's fine. I'm all for it. I'm not saying I'm against it. Like,
a lot of parallels
between the
Swifties
people
team
get real
and
mad
sports.
at us. It's great. That's why I started watching the Chiefs more this year. Like, because she was there and I was excited about it. And then I found myself actually enjoying the game. And then I found myself wearing Chiefs apparel and Ricky's like, what are you doing? We're Colts fans. And I'm like, you're right. But when the Colts aren't playing, because they do suck.
Yeah. So the whole postseason and I mean, let's be honest, some of the preseason or some of the regular season games, I mean, they might as well not be playing.
Yeah, no, it's bad. But yeah, her album, it's exciting. It looks very different than what she's ever done. So I'm curious to see.
Maybe I'll like it.
It has Post Malone on there.
Oh.
You're not a fan of Posty?
I don't like this new generation of music. It's just not for me.
Honestly, I would agree with you.
I
do like Post Malone.
I think a lot of it is recycled. I think the biggest problem with it is like I'm not a big fan of covers, and sometimes covers can be really good, but some of the authenticity of music kind of gets eliminated when everything's done, you know, on the computer and a bunch of different samples and tracks that aren't, nothing's authentic anymore.
Right.
When you hear a beat from a song, it's not a drummer playing the beat, it's a computer synthesizing, you know, other musicians' material. And I just, you know, it loses some of the soul to me, but
that's understandable.
I say that, but you know, some of my favorite bands still do a lot of covers of songs, but I don't know, the authenticity is still there for me. But you know, I'm not a big fan of this new generation of music. Of course, exception of, you know, some of the, you know, the best female artists in the world, Adele.
I would say she's up there.
Yeah, the best.
Yeah, she's definitely up there.
Yeah. You know, besides her and a few others, I don't know, the new generation of music isn't for me.
Well, that song with Post Malone is called Fortnite. I don't know.
I don't know. No. See, some people would be like, "Oh, maybe I'll." No, that actually probably makes it worse.
That just makes you not want to listen.
That probably makes me more likely not to listen.
I'm a little nervous. I think it'll be good. But.
You a big Fortnite fan?
No, I don't play any video games besides Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, I never really played those games.
Yeah, I was a big Nintendo girl when I was like little.
Yeah.
Now I don't really have time for it, but when I do, like in the summers, I do have a Switch, Nintendo Switch.
Sweet, I don't have a Switch.
I have like 3 games on there, and Crash Bandicoot is one of them. I didn't even know they still made that because that was like,
you know, 50, 60, 70 years ago, back when you were a kid.
Back when I was a kid 50 years ago. Yeah, I mean it was a while ago, but they even had a little toy the other day at McDonald's that was Crash Bandicoot, and I was like, this makes my childhood heart happy.
Yeah, and speaking of games, you know, I found out something recently. Ricky plays D&D.
Yeah, he does.
He's like into it too, right?
I mean, I think I don't really know how that works.
You know, that's a common conversation. I just found that out. I love D&D. I play all the time. You know,
so how is that? Is it like virtual? It's in person, isn't it?
It can be online,
okay.
But traditionally it's done in person. You have figurines and and a battle map, as we call it. It's really funny. I gotta get a game set up with Ricky sometime.
I'm trying to take interest in his interests. I'm trying to be a good wife, but there are just some things. You know, he's not a Taylor Swift fan. I respect that. I'm not a big Dungeons and Dragons.
And you know it's not for everyone.
That's okay. It's not. And, you know, I do see how it could be fun. I just can't quite.
It can be complicated at times. Yeah.
It does. It hurts my brain. I like enjoying things I don't have to think about.
Yeah, like Taylor Swift music.
Oh, okay.
But you know, beyond some of you know those interests that we talk about, you know, you've been here in district for the past 3 years, but you also have some family here in district with Miss Stout.
Yeah.
What's it like being able to work with her?
It is an odd dynamic working with your mom. She was my teacher throughout, in junior high. She was my science teacher, actually. And then she was my volleyball coach my freshman year of high school, and then moved over here after my freshman year of high school. So, I always grew up kind of knowing Nickerson kids because, in high school at least, because she was over here. And then never thought I would, work with her or work at Nickerson. You know, we moved away. And then the position opened up, and I was like, that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to work with your mom. So if you like your mom, you know, which I do, Mom, love you. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's really fun. And some days I don't even really see her very often. But it is fun to just be able to be on the same page about things or collaborate on work. We do a lot of the same types of classes.
Yeah.
So that's really fun too. And then she helps out with state FBLA, and I don't know. It's just nice having her in the building. So that'll be weird with her being here when I'm on maternity leave and me not being here, but I'm excited to keep working with her. So
yeah, and you know that also while you're on maternity leave, you'll have somebody who's only right down the hall from your classroom, you know.
It's true.
Making sure that I'm not taking it over, setting up camp.
Yeah, I was a little worried about that, so.
You know, I was looking at some of the sub criteria for next year, and I could
Doable.
do it pretty easily, actually.
You could.
All you need is a high school diploma, which, you know,
Hopefully.
hopefully
will be receiving.
I'll have one
Yeah.
by that time. I could teach your class while you're on maternity leave.
That maybe gives me a little bit of anxiety, but I also know, I don't know, that'd be kind of interesting.
It'd be interesting. You know, I know a bit more than the average sub and some of the things that you do,
You
but
think so?
yeah, you know.
Oh, and the things that I do, maybe that applies to my classroom.
Like the FBLA stuff,
Yeah,
the business
you
center
do.
stuff. Wouldn't be the first time I walked into your classroom and pretended to know business, so.
Won't be the last, probably.
Probably won't be the last, yeah. You know, some interesting things. So a lot of stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know, from, you know, Taylor Swift's new album to having a child, you know, some big things happening in your life. And, you know, I started this out by asking what makes you special. And at first, I had no clue. You know, I've always kind of seen you as pretty ordinary, kidding, of course. You're not normal. That's for sure.
Very
But
normal.
you know, when I think about what makes you special, and I think you would agree, is that you're personable. You know, you can have conversations with an individual, not just as teacher student, but you know, as somebody who you can relate with. And you know, a lot of times it's easier to learn from somebody who you know aren't. You know, there's not a massive age gap, a massive interest gap. No offense to the older teachers in the building.
No, I
but,
love them. They have so much to offer.
Yeah, and it's just a different dynamic,
Yes.
and something that you know I'm glad that we're able to have here is having those different perspectives from our teachers.
Right.
So you know, when I think about what makes you special, it's being personable, and I think that's very similar to what you said in the beginning. Just the connections you can establish. So you know, I thank you for coming and having this conversation with me.
Yeah.
And thank you all for listening. Go ahead and join us next time, and have a good rest of your day.